Hi team, Claire here from My Mortgage, and today I want to talk about relationship splits. Now this is never a great topic and I have been there myself, but it is really important to talk about, particularly if it's something that you're considering or you're looking at some options or you're just looking at what the process might look like. So to start off with, you'll have a bit of an idea around how things will fall. So by that I mean you'll know roughly what your joint assets are going to be, how much money you got in the bank, any investments, term deposits, property, cars, boats, anything else that is of value. You want to pop that all into a spreadsheet and then work out those values and how you're going to establish those values. So firstly, working out how that split's going to be. Secondly, for things like properties where there's lending involved or even some equity that might have been gifted or loaned by family, you need to work out what that property is worth, and also whether or not one party wants to try to buy the other one out, or whether or not that property will be sold and then the proceeds will be distributed to both parties evenly. There might also be a relationship property agreement that you might have agreed on pre-relationship, or there might have been some family money that came into a first home purchase or similar at some point along the process. So you want to consider that as well. Then from there, once you know roughly what's going to be happening with your assets, we want to be looking at getting a pre-approval for the party that might be staying in the property to take over the lending and the ownership. Now this is not quite as easy as just taking someone's name off a bit of paper or off the title. It's actually a full application and we can make that as simple as possible. We do it all the time and we manage that process through. If there's going to be things like child support or any other changes to expenses during that time, we want to kind of have a bit of a chat about that too, see how that's all going to fall, and also how repayment of any existing debt might be made as well. So there might be car loans, credit cards, things like that. So we're going to work out how we will do that. Sometimes and in some cases there is a differing amount for each party. So for example, one party might be staying in the property, they might be keeping the kids there, that might be the right thing for the overall family. So the person who may be moving out might be kind of taking less money, or there might be some kind of give and take scenario. So just make sure you update us on that. We can help work through that process as well. Next, you want to get your property valued. So a property valuer is going to be super useful here to understand independently what the value of your property is. In an ideal world, at this point, we would have had a pre-approval in place and we can actually order that valuation for you through the bank's approved systems. And that's a really good idea, so you don't have to get it redone at any point. And we can keep it pretty transparent and also independent, which is the important part here. You'll also want to be starting to engage a solicitor at this point, and the solicitor will be your ally in getting through this process, getting to the end, and hopefully everybody being happy, or at least as happy as possible. In an ideal world, you would approach a solicitor having already agreed mostly on what things are going to look like heading forward, how you're going to divide your assets, and what the kind of ongoing responsibility will be. Probably with things like childcare are the most common ones, but also that there wouldn't be any ongoing liability for from one party to the other, which is really important as well. At this point, we're going to know what your property's worth, we're going to know who can buy the other one out, we're going to know your solicitor details and your relationship property agreement ideally, and at that stage we will pick a settlement date. So that's the date that everything changes over, might be the ownership of the property and a bunch of other assets, and normally that date is set by both parties in agreement. So this process is not always easy, but we can make it as much so as possible. Talk to us to get some advice, and then we can direct you in the right direction to professionals who are going to help you out as well. Please get in touch, mymortgage.co.nz, click on the Contact Us page and book a call with one of our advisors, and we will make that process as easy as possible. Talk soon.